Good morning, afternoon, and evening. Welcome back to the Liberal Artists Podcast. I'm your host, Bodio. With me, I have Kaylie Horowitz.
A good day.
And Andy Gibby Gibson.
I'm sorry. Who am I? Because
I'm
pretty sure you said.
I almost
Ian.
said Ian Downs. Ian Horowitz Downs.
Kaylie, tell your husband to get back in the room because obviously he's on this episode.
You're not my husband? Oh God.
Oh wow. Yeah. It turns out when I was the one conducting the ceremony, I wrote it into the speech, and now we're married.
Oh no!
All part of my clever ruse, and you fell for it so easily.
Kaylie got married.
Yeah.
We did the
Get
thing.
married.
It was a wonderful time. We saw all of our friends.
There's 2 rings here now.
2 chains, 4 watches.
Again, we are not a visual medium. When will I learn that? Never.
Never. Our podcast's whole stick is just refusing to adapt to the medium that we're in.
We should have did a
Refuse
wedding,
to
wedding
adapt.
podcast, like during the ceremony. Be like, all right, everybody, sit back and watch us goof for an hour.
I will say I'm gonna call him out right now because it's relevant and funny.
Okay.
And we were looking at guest book stuff the other night over dinner. We did, because we were very spooky. We wanted to like Friday the 13th kind of wedding. Clue, Knives Out were big style influences. We had 2 ways to leave a guest book, which was either you could write whatever you wanted into a funky, like old worn page, old leather bound book with a weird smell
It's
to
fucking
it.
hard as hell to write in.
Some of the pens worked better than others, yes. But
The fake quill pens.
yeah, those ended up being just more for decoration. It's fine.
They were nice.
But we also had a tape recorder that Ian had in a technology box, and we really liked the idea of like BioShock, like so many other video games where it's like you find
Voxophones.
audio logs and
Yeah.
Vox kind of things that just have this weird like playback quality to it of like what's going on, like you can hear things, whatever. We played around with it before taking it down with us, that we were like, oh yeah, this is gonna be our sort of like audio guest book kind
I
of
missed
thing.
that completely. I would have loved to do that.
We had
completely
signs.
missed it.
Nobody was there to say anything, but we did have one of our very good friends, Kate, not
Okay.
only play around with it before wedding when she came over with some of our other friends to help set up, but like ended up finding 2 other of our friends and just kind of were like live casting, like sports broadcasting, kind of like they were giving us their well wishes, and it was really sweet. And then they just sort of ended up talking about like, and there's Andy cutting it up on the dance floor, he's going for it, like just
It's true.
The play
like live broadcasting what was happening, or like
Welcome
talking
back
about
to
the
wide
day.
world of wedding.
You like talking about the day of like, oh, everyone looks stunning and gorgeous, and like Kaylie looks so beautiful, and Ian, the suit looked great, matching the color green with his mom was beautiful. Like just this very like, are we at halftime and we've got like all the commentators?
This next quarter is brought to you by Wedding Cake. No brand, just cake.
I think we had like 2 other like recorded like, oh yay, congratulations, we love you kind of messages, but most of it ended up being this like mini podcast sports broadcast with like these 4 people.
That sounds like the best.
And you could hear music in the background faintly every once in a while. I'm like, man, this is absolutely what I wish we could have just had a like mini podcast set up for people to just come in and say whatever the hell they wanted to.
I would have loved to have like found that and just recorded something like, Kaylie, Ian, if you're hearing me now, it's too late. You have to find the you have to perform the sacrament upon the blood moon. It's too late. And just trail off into the distance.
I mean, in some ways, we're kind of glad like it ended where it did, because we they pulled the tape out and we were like, oh crap, it's come out of the lines. Spool. It came out of the spools a little bit.
Oh.
That we were really worried something got like corrupted or torn, and thankfully it didn't. But it was that like, okay, maybe it's a good thing that nobody else touched it after this, because otherwise I would have been real scared we would have lost all that.
It's fine. You just stick the like eraser end of a pencil back in the grooves, and you just
And not
twist.
if the tape is like torn up and scratched.
Okay,
though.
good point.
That's where, because that's all we did have to do was just kind of twist it back into place and get it to sit back in the track. But I saw it kind of like spilling out of the cassette a little bit, and I went, "Oh no!"
Gasp.
Like we rewound VHS tapes. I know what to do there, but you can't really fix it if it's been torn to shreds.
You know what I would really like is if you combined that play-by-play with the footage of Bo and I dancing in a circle during Rasputin. Because we were like going ham on
Yes.
We were, for like half of that song, Gibby and I were the only we made a dance circle for some reason.
Yep.
And Gibby and I were the only people who would get in the middle of the dance circle for a good 3/4 of the song.
Hell
like,
yeah,
right,
you were
fine.
doing the full Russian kick and everything.
I just remember standing there at the edge going, I don't know the Just Dance. Who knows the Just Dance? There's got to be somebody here that knows it.
Years of academy training wasted.
I also couldn't do it just because of my dress, but I also don't know. Like, I did not grow up with Just Dance, but I know that there are people out there that like Rasputin is one of their like, I know this like through and through by heart.
They did it at a party that you hosted.
They did do it at a party you hosted.
They did it at parties that you hosted.
Yeah.
What a missed opportunity. Maybe anyway about it. So Bo and I just took over circling each other with our arms,
Which was
like
absolutely
90
fine.
degrees, like pointed at the ground, just staring at each other as intensely as possible, just circling.
It's all about the eye contact in Rasputin. Yeah. Like, even if you can't do the like the lows, the squat kicks sort of things, it's all about the intense eye contact.
I'm not convinced we blinked once. Like,
good.
We were like,
as it should
locked
be
on.
As is tradition.
I'm just very glad when we did a bouquet toss. Mm-hmm. And we did have some of our former professors and I think mentors to an extent as well, that were there. 2 of them like got up. They were very concerned. Apparently they told Ian's parents or Ian at some point, I can't remember when they found them, but we're like, they're not gonna do a garter toss, are they? We're like, no. We're just throwing flowers because I wanted to do that. I tried to think of something. There are people that do like they'll do like a plushie toss where it's like a pusheen, like a little cat, and it's whoever catches it. It could be anybody. It doesn't have to just be the non-engaged / single women. It could be anybody, and whoever catches it gets to adopt a cat next or something like that.
I've also just seen 2 bouquet tosses, one for single women and one for single men, done at weddings.
We should have done that.
And it doesn't contain any of the creepiness that's involved with the garter.
Right, damn it, we should have done that. Oh no.
Yeah, I've definitely been at weddings where they did the garter toss and was like, I don't want to touch that.
Yeah, no, we went. We're definitely not doing that. I think it was more of just the like, no, we'll have a fair amount of like folks there. Like it was thinking of like, oh my God, we have so many married friends already. But then also being like, no, but okay, these ones are basically married, but that's because they've just been together for 5 years and they might as well be engaged / married / whatever you want to call it. But we did the bouquet toss and I picked This Is What Dreams Are Made Of from the Lizzie McGuire movie as the song for that. And there's part of the tape recording where you hear it start and then at a certain point while people are talking, you just hear this entire group of women scream singing, hey now, this is what dreams are made of.
Good for them. Good for them. I'm glad they were living their girl boss fantasy.
Like, this is all I could have wanted, honestly. Perfect. 10 out of 10.
All right, everybody shut the fuck up.
Okay.
Stop being happy.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I told Gibby and Kaylie we do some YouTube shit before we got to the main topic.
Again,
Alrighty.
We're totally a visual medium.
This is a live reaction. This is a world premiere. Liberal Artists reacts to Craven the Hunter.
Bo, this is 3.5 minutes long.
Yeah.
Bo, it's
just do a minute. Just do a minute. Just do a minute. Just do a minute and a half. It's fine.
Okay. A minute.
Tell me when we should be pressing play.
Hit play in 3, 2, 1, go. Do you guys even know who Kraven the Hunter is?
No.
He's a Spider-Man villain.
He's a really whack-ass Spider-Man villain.
Oh my god.
Put some shoes on, young man.
No.
Oh, this is just worse Morbius, isn't it?
I was about to say, like, I'm getting, like, John Wick meets Morbius.
Oh, Jesus. Russell Crowe, get the fuck out of here.
He's Kraven's daddy.
I don't give a fuck. He just Simba'd his boy with, like, blood.
Simba.
That's important.
Jesus. Bo.
I don't know if we're gonna watch it long enough to see the whack shit. Wait, yeah, keep going. I promise. I know I said a minute, but hold on.
A lion.
Yep. Young boy gets mauled by the lion.
Jesus.
Hold on.
Oh my god.
Hold
Oh,
the
Jesus.
line.
Does he get lion powers because he got bit by a lion? Oh, for fuck's sake, Bo.
All right, now we can stop. Homie gets a single drop of lion blood in him.
Oh, God.
And then he gets superpowers.
It's worse than Morbius. No, I'm closing the tab. Fuck you. Fuck this. I'm angry.
I cannot.
I'm so fucking mad. I can't believe you get lion powers by getting bled on by a lion. Fuck you, Bodio.
Just a single drop, dude.
This is the absolute, like, most
Fuck Sony.
ridiculous
Fuck this.
of
Fuck
the
that.
Spider-Man logic, but that for some reason no one went, we don't need to do this. They just went, yeah, let's make this a movie.
If they don't make a movie, they'll lose the rights to Spider-Man.
Oh my god, I'm still watching it though, but the fucking bear trap. The bear traps!
Yeah,
What
so
the
they
hell?
for some reason they decided they're gonna go ultra violent in this movie.
Yeah, what the hell?
So Kraven has a bunch of bear traps for some reason. He's also not Russian. He's supposed to be Russian.
He's the hunter.
Yeah, but he has a bunch of bear traps in his car, and he straight up jumps at a guy and slams it on top of his head, and it clamps down on his neck, which is like, oh,
okay.
that's not what that's built for.
I love Saw.
It was real funny when we dunked on Sony and went, hey, you should bring Morbius back into theaters.
It's morbid time.
This is what you get for playing a joke on the internet, kids. The corporate movie boys will come back and get you, and they'll bring Kraven the Hunter.
Wait, hold on. If this gets me Spider-Verse 3, then like fine. I'll take the L.
I'll take the L.
Jesus. Look, God sending his toughest battles to his strongest spider soldier right now, and I'm not doing well. I fucking love the Spider-Verse movies, man. But at what cost?
This cost.
This.
A single drop of lion blood.
The burden upon the king's shoulders is too heavy, Bodio, and my shoulders are buckling.
The weight of the crown is too great.
The weight of the crown is breaking my fucking neck vertebra by vertebra.
You should give it to Kraven.
Fuck this. Fuck that. I hate this. They should have just kept like the Kraven from the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, man.
With the silly lion t-shirt.
With the silly like
he's got a
fur.
vest with a frilly neckline, and it's got the face of a lion on it, Kaylie.
That guy was the best.
He was awful.
Oh,
and he was big Russian man who was here to hunt the spider.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's who they're making a movie of, Kaylie.
Oh my god.
That's who the algorithm said should make a movie of.
It's a Kraven.
The algorithm said this is what the people want because that's how we decide how movies get made.
Now wait until they do the Sinister Six with Kraven, Venom, Morbius, and 3 other rando Spider-Man villains. and Spider-Man won't even be in the movie. That'll just be
we don't get the dignity of like the B tier, like the Rhino or something like that.
Gibby, you didn't finish the trailer.
Fuck you.
What?
It's not. No, I can't open it back up, Bo. I can't finish the fucking trailer, Bo.
I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I'm strong enough to do it.
I can't get past the lion blood into the bloody orifice giving. I'm not watching to see something even worse than Paul Giamatti Rhino.
You have to overcome
refuse.
first the several the Herculean challenges, the witnessing the drop of lion blood.
You have to drink the blood of the Nemean lion.
The bear trap to the face, 4 in a row kills, the awkwardly held shot of him jumping into the cab of a truck and biting a man's face and like chopping off part of his forehead and spitting it out. Like they hold that shot for like just a second or two long that it's awkward. Like I get it's supposed to be like, huh, the beast, huh, but like it's just weird. Like even in the trailer, and then yes, to finally
into a car just to Van Gogh some fool.
I thought he bit his face off. I didn't see it was his ear, but it still is just a like punch, chomp, head turn, spit. Ah!
I'm so broken.
Yeah.
There are things inside me now that cannot be fixed. Even by the deftest hands and the greatest master craftsmen and doctors cannot put this Humpty Dumpty back together again.
$6 million man ain't got nothing here.
let's fill that whole void with some Castlevania. Castlevania, what the fuck is the new one called? Nocturne? I want to say
Nocturne.
Symphony of the Night. Yeah, it's Nocturne, baby. Castlevania Nocturne.
Nocturnal.
Because they're vampires.
Yeah, you may remember from a couple months back, Bo mentioned, oh yeah, by the way, there's a new Castlevania coming out. And I went,
I was
what?
very excited.
There's a new
And
Castlevania.
it did look really freaking cool.
And it's fine.
Yeah. It's Richter! Yay!
It's Richter! Yay!
I've got strong feelings, and I'm glad you brought me down from the wedding to where I am now by the power of Craven the Hunter.
This episode has just been all downhill. we peaked early.
Bo, stop giving me your toughest battles.
Absolutely not. Yeah, so it's Castlevania Nocturne. Very extremely loosely based on Castlevania 10, which some people would know as Castlevania DX in America, starring Richter Belmont. 400 years after Trevor.
It's somewhere between 300 and 400.
Yeah, it's about 400 after one Trevor Belmont revived the Belmont clan. We've got his plucky Bostonian descendant who for some reason has a thick English accent, even though he was born in Boston and raised in France, but everybody in France has English accents, so it's like, it's
was
fine.
Was he actually born in Boston? I thought it was that his mom like came to the New World with him as a smaller child, and he was like they came over there with her going, I'm leaving Europe.
Yeah, he was born in the New World. He was born in America.
That was unclear, but like, it doesn't
but we're still
matter.
talking like colonies when he was born, right? Like the revolution has happened.
Yeah, 1783 is where we start. So like, we just won the Revolutionary War. Like
and we're in France,
still
so
tumultuous.
you could guess what it's about. A French Revolution.
Jeez. The very end of the 18th century in France. I wonder what could be happening.
One of my shout outs to God, I can't remember her. I'm surprised they didn't break out into that song. But one of
there's a season 2.
Let me finish my
season 2 that's coming. Pick it up right after this. There's still time to be throwing barricades of furniture and singing. Anyways,
well, that's what I'm saying. One of my teachers at Southern Union Community College. I apologize, I can't remember your name, but you were fantastic. She said, "You want to know what French history is? Shit goes wrong, they throw up the barricades and start shooting each other every time." And
sometimes
this is that, but with vampires.
Yeah.
And actually, there is singing in this one, so I stand corrected. It's just not
oh boy,
Victor Hugo.
I gotta say something about the setting right here. Like, this revolution that they're in, it's the famous one, where Marie Antoinette gets her head chopped off. Everybody's
Shop.
familiar.
Yep.
It's
Let them eat cake.
I like that they at least
Kirsten Dunst. No.
Oh no, not Kirsten Dunst. I like that they do bring in at the beginning, like, hey, there's a lot of guillotining going on. Because for the rest of it, every time they're talking about revolutions and everything, they're kind of passing by the fact that these are the Jacobins that are taking over, the people that eventually lead to the Reign of Terror, and Robespierre chopping literally everybody's head off before Napoleon goes like, hey.
Can you tell that Gibby's been studying a little French history?
Not a lot. I watched like a video, but
I watched one History Channel 4-hour documentary.
It's just making me laugh that like you have like the bonnet of the revolution on all these like bright-faced young girls who are like, come join our revolution, liberty, fraternity. And in like 2 years, all of them are going to be dead because they're going to be like suspected of being enemies of the revolution. And I'm just like, that's kind of funny that it's like, give it 3 years, pal. It's going to be worse than the vampires.
But they gave Richter a sexy headband.
That's true. And also they're going to round up all the sans culottes in all of France and cut their heads off very shortly.
It's fine. They'll probably like blah blah that as the main bad guy being lion. I hate that lady, but in a bad way. Anyway, so the setting,
not the fun way it is to hate an antagonist, but a bad way.
She's really stupid and dumb, and I don't like her. We'll get there. Setting, Richter Belmont. For some reason, whenever we see the Belmont clan, they're in decline. They can't just be chilling. There's always there's like one or two of these fuckers left.
Yeah.
They forgot how to fuck, okay? They forgot how to fuck.
I guess so, right? But
a lot of single children in the...
That's I think I was going to say, I think our current headcanon between me and Ian, we had our surprise other Belmont show up later on in this season of Nocturne. That we went, oh man, they got busy. We were like, I don't know. My thought is, I don't think
they did.
Trevor and Sypha probably. But that doesn't guarantee that like every single line, like even if they had 3 or 4 kids, maybe more, like either you're in a dangerous line of work. There's no guarantee that you're living to have children of your own. But then 2, you're in a dangerous line of work and you're constantly in fear of your children. Why would you have so many more of them if things could keep happening? And then lo and behold, we're back in this situation where there's only so few of them left.
You keep on harping on how important it is that your family is the only family of vampire hunters. Okay. Are we going to talk about this? Let's talk about this.
Yes,
we're not going to talk about plot. We're going to do some stupid shit. So, in the reality of this world, vampires are a known quantity.
Yeah.
Right. And we know
like it's
vampires
not a
are
secret.
also. There's also no gray area when it comes to vampire. They are objectively evil. They are the French oppression. They're all the nobility. For some reason, they are slave owners. They are in the US. They're all over Europe. They're in Africa. They are a known evil. Why the fuck is there one family of vampire hunters in the middle of fuck all Europe? Why isn't this just like a thing that people do?
Yeah, why isn't it like the MBA of like
that's what
Renaissance
I'm saying. That
Europe?
Should be a collegiate career. It's been 400 years.
Technically speaking, at some point, there's a conversation where I get the vibes that they're the only ones that'll do it for free. I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, we don't say they do.
Yeah, like Richter doesn't respect when you do it for pay, and it's like, my guy, I have to eat.
Right? But like, not only are vampires a known quality, magic is a known quality. People know there's magic and they see magicians and they no-sell it. They're just like, oh, yeah, that's old girl. She can summon anime animals.
I feel like we just like doubled the quantity of like speaker clans in this Like within 300, 400 years, it feels like we've doubled the amount of just like, oh, and here's where speakers are, and here's where speakers are, and here's where speakers are.
Yeah.
So the speakers have been getting busy, so why haven't the fucking Belmonts?
But then also these then sort of like with the Americas, this like, oh, and here's how other cultures have like magic like transferred through and handed through their own cultural lineages, but we're not speakers, but we are magic users. I'm like, how many are there? There's
Why
so
are there
many!
Why are there still vampires? Why haven't we killed these fools yet?
In the first Castlevania series,
Yes.
you have essentially 3 things that you can derive power from:
Vampirism.
vampirism, God, as in like the well, actually no, like he doesn't even have a major effect.
It
Like,
is the no. It is.
He
it is.
did nothing.
It's comic book rules. It's
Yeah.
the Christian God. ... and others.
well, here's the thing. Like, Trevor goes on to say the reason why the vampires fear the cross is because of their biology and the way that their eyes
But
work
also,
with
holy
them.
water works on vampires. Gibby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
holy. Okay. Yeah. Consecrated.
Like
yada,
they can't
yada,
they can't
salt.
enter churches without permission.
Yeah.
And holy water works. on
Things
them.
of spiritual / maybe religious or magic energy.
They all acknowledge the Christian definition of hell, and they all acknowledge the Christian
Yeah.
God.
Okay,
Like
so
over and
yes.
over and over again.
So here are the 4 things. This
Okay.
revised now list that I didn't even finish the
I got
original
4
list.
things.
I got 4
That's
things.
it.
Yeah.
No. In the original Castlevania,
Yes.
there are 4 things that give you power. 1.
Castlevania anime series.
Yes, the original
Yeah.
Castlevania that we reviewed like a year or 2 ago. Time is nothing. I don't care. Yeah. The first thing is being a vampire gives
Yep.
you power because you're a vampire.
Yep.
A lot of
Duh.
spooky shit, supernatural shit.
Yep.
2, the Christian God,
Yep.
churches, consecrated salt, holy water, yada yada.
Yep.
3, magic,
Yep.
specifically speaker magic.
Yep.
We learn kind of how that works based on the elements and everything. It's a trade that goes on.
Mhm.
4, science. Science is the last remaining thing that gives you power, such as all the power of the varieties of mechanisms of Dracula's castle.
Sure.
Saint Germain, like traveling through time.
He's an alchemist. Yeah. I see what you mean.
God, I love Saint Germain.
Those are the 4 things that give you power in
Yeah.
We
the
still
original
walk around our
rules.
apartment and quote, all this for Vlad Bloody Tepesh, just
Yeah.
randomly.
So those are the
That's-
4 things that give you power in the original setting.
Yes.
Let's talk about the rules of this one.
What rules? What
Yeah.
rules?
Yeah. Because my problem with the setting of this is that there's too many things that give
Yes.
you power. And like Bo said, that ... is dangerous
Yeah.
because not only is the Christian God still real and powerful
And the big guy.
against
Yeah.
vampirisms. Yeah. Shout out to my man JC up there in the
Jay.
clouds saying, hey, go kick
Jesus.
those vampires' butts. You also have every other god in the pantheon
The
that
Creole
exists.
the Creole gods, African gods, the Egyptian gods are dudes whose blood you can drink. It's apparently not like, but she's not fucking speaking poetically. She's like, I drank the
Literal-
blood of Ra. I'm like, I think she
Yeah.
literally drank the blood of Ra.
Sekhmet.
Yeah,
Fucking
it's like, how'd you
Like
do that?
How did you do that?
Where did you get this?
Where have you been? When Vlad Bloody Tepesh was ruling the world, why weren't you curb stomping his ass? You were around.
Right. Where were y'all 300 years ago?
Why was Death so happy about this guy? Where
Yeah.
were you?
Why?
When we were gathered, here's my thing. I might be jumping the gun a little bit, but I think a similar point. When Dracula and those associated with him were gathering up all the fucking vampires, where were half of you?
Where was fucking natural hair heels lady?
Like, where were y'all 300 years ago?
Where was this sexy Aztec guy? Like, what the fuck's going on?
Like, I get introducing new characters because now you have a new show, new direction, new whatever. but it's dangerous when you're dealing with like basically eternal supernatural beings, and now especially with new ones who are apparently even older than some of the ones that we got in the last series.
Guy who we told was the baddest motherfucker on the planet. Right. It's like, I don't think he was.
I think that was a lie.
It's the Marvel problem.
Exactly.
Like, if Dracula's your Thanos, then you go, fuck, how do we one up that? Let's do this. That breaks the rules of this universe that we've established. And that fucks with things.
Yeah.
And it makes it not good. Look, here's the thing. I don't like this series.
Wow.
I don't like what they did with the story. I don't like what they did with the plot.
I still kind of like it.
Not because
I never liked your spinach puffs. It had that energy.
My spinach puffs. And I want to preface this by saying it's not because of the reason why all the pissed off little shitty white boys on the internet don't like this series.
Why are they pissed off? I haven't seen half of the backlash.
Because black people, Kaylie. Why do you think they're pissed off?
I thought it was going to be about women.
I mean, also, yes.
Well, that too. Like, it's an attack on their character to have somebody who's not a white man.
A white man? No!
Why is the show so woke? There's too much wokeness in the show.
That's why this show had a 2.9 rating on Google, and I don't think it's because they were thinking about the structure of the world.
No, definitely not.
No.
Like, we are not here to complain about this show because of that. So don't you dare associate us with that. Because frankly, I think the giant multicultural aspect of having vampires from all over the world is pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
How did an Aztec guy get to Europe?
Shut the fuck up. I don't care.
They didn't have boats in the 1800s. That doesn't make sense.
It literally doesn't matter. It couldn't possibly matter any less. No, that part doesn't matter.
Honestly, the better like strengths as far as like characters are most of your characters of color in this show. Yeah. They're really good. I love Annette. I think she's great.
The design is great. Like all the characters have, except Drolta, the, as you said, giant pink afro lady. Her fashion doesn't make any sense. Those like shoes that she's wearing.
Ian and I also had a similar, like, she's a very fun character.
But she's sexy.
Her look is very anachronous with the rest of what's going on.
It doesn't make sense.
Even if we can understand that, yeah, you're a supernatural deity. You're not even a vampire. You're some kind of like hell creature thing anyways.
Those heels were worn at the Met.
You're not trying to blend in, but also like,
Old girl came into this TV show out of Cyberpunk 2077 and was like, cool.
Right. I was gonna say she's wearing the latest like House of Gaga meets Cyberpunk collab.
Hair is literally glowing. It's like, word?
Right. Which again looks cool, but like it feels mildly out of place.
Doesn't match. She feels so out of place. Yeah.
I'm so fine like when she like finally does the RuPaul's Drag Race reveal and she goes full succubus. That makes perfect sense.
I like her like costume changes that we get, the sort of like play on the sort of military jackets and kind of things that she has. Love those.
We're doing revolutionary shit. Stick with the revolutionary shit.
And then she gets fucking jobbed out in the last act. Fucking one shot, stabbed in the chest. It's like, all right, bye. I guess you didn't matter.
I have something different I want to complain about.
Yes.
I want to complain about the pacing of this show.
Yes.
This is a show.
I thought it was just me feeling that. Thank God.
No. This is a show that deserved to have 12 episodes to be able to feel itself out some instead of 8 episodes at 25 minutes apiece. Because let's take a look at character introduction and everything. Our main cast of characters of our vampire fighting crew, whose job is to fight the vampires and support the revolution.
Kind of, maybe.
Usually whenever somebody talks about revolution in like media, it's pretty empty.
Vive la révolution.
Yeah, it's kind of whatever. Like the slave revolution that gets talked about with the Caribbean, that's like, yeah, I get it. That's pretty straightforward. The French Revolution in the context of this show is kind of like, okay, but what are you fighting for exactly?
Right.
Doesn't matter. I'm complaining about something different. I'm letting it go. the characters that we get introduced to in episode 1, you obviously have Richter.
Yep.
You have Maria, the summoner, who does cool summoning stuff. She's a Pokemon trainer.
I said Beastmaster, summoner, kind of.
She's a Pokemon trainer, and her you've got her mom Tara, who is a more traditional
Basically
speaker.
fights exactly like Sypha from the last series.
Yeah.
Kind of necromancer, like in like the last episode.
A general magician.
General magician. At the end of episode 1, when they're getting their asses beat by some of the night creatures that pop up, we bring in Annette, who is an escape. Yeah, Annette, who's an escaped slave from the Caribbean, who has the power of controlling metal through the ancient African gods of iron. There's a lot of gods in this
war
show.
god. She's like descended from 2 different gods. She's Gaara from Naruto.
Pretty much. And you have
See, first
Edward.
I was like, ooh, it's like alchemy because she's turning the dirt into like she's taking the components out of it. I was like really about to be like, oh, we're doing some like alchemy as magic. Oh no. Okay. It's more of just a specific deity's magic lineage. Because I thought based on those 4 categories that we were going to merge science and magic into one, that it's like alchemy is magic. But no, we went a different route. Would have been cool. Would have been cool.
Would have been cool. We also meet Edward, who helps her escape in their backstory. He's an opera singer. He doesn't have any magic.
He's not magical at all.
But he sing pretty and he speaks from the heart and he is a very good boy.
Hashtag kill your gays.
Yeah, we meet these characters in episode 1. Edward is dead in 30 minutes.
Like immediately.
30 minutes later, at the end of episode 2.
They're just like, and 86. It's like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Annette has a moment where she sees the slave-owning vampire that killed her mom. She freaks out, which alerts all of the vampires, and in a 80s style, somebody at the back of the group is not running fast enough, slow motion, yada yada. He gets got. He's dead. I hope you liked Edward.
It's completely her fault. She gets mad at everybody. Nobody calls her out on it.
Yeah. But then we spend the next, episode and almost and a half, basically getting their backstory as told, through an episode of flashbacks, basically.
Which is fucking gorgeous.
Oh,
Jesus.
Yeah. It's that, God, this is really beautiful. But at the same time, it was one of those, I'm like, I feel like we're spending a lot of time here and it's very early in this, but it's also only 8 episodes, so I don't know where to tell very early is, but they feel like we should be doing this later. I don't know. Yeah. It was awkward at a certain point.
Put a pin in that, because that's actually one of my critiques as well.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you know that guy that just died? Here's why you should feel sad about him for an entire episode. And
maybe we should have said this before he died.
Yeah, exactly. The boy shows up, hits one thing with a sword, sings at a funeral for a bird.
Sings really bad opera in English.
Oh,
whoever's that voice actor, your voice is beautiful. It shouldn't be a cappella. It should not be in English. I'm sorry.
Nobody puts opera in English. It's bad. It sounds bad all the time. The man sings some bad opera, and then he dies 10 minutes later after a stupid mission that they go on.
I did have questions about the choice of translation in this series, because correct me if I'm wrong, this is dubbed originally in English, right?
I believe
because
so.
It's a Netflix production.
Yeah.
Why the fuck is our church figure in this season? Why is he Father Abbott?
I don't know.
Because Ian and I were thinking that was just
should be a bow, right?
A joke. No, they because he's Abbott, the Abbott.
Oh,
why is he Father Abbott? He should be one or the other. Why is he both?
This show has choices.
Small town France.
Yeah,
why?
This is one of those. It's one of those shows that fuck. We don't want to pay people that have a French accent
So Abbott is his first name.
No, his first name's Emmanuel.
His last name is Emmanuel.
Oh Jesus! Oh no!
But isn't Abbott like a title within the church?
It is also a title. Yes.
That's why we were confused.
Well, maybe that's why he became a priest.
He's like, it was my destiny.
Yeah. On Wikipedia, it's listed as Emmanuel / the Abbot, a clergyman of the Order of St. John.
But they keep referring to him as Father Abbott, which I'm like, he should just be the Abbot or just Abbott. Like, what the fuck?
I don't know.
I think he's also an original character.
Which had me questioning like the choice of certain songs. I think the one for the funeral of the bird made sense to do in English, perhaps. But
Maybe,
lot of the other, like the more opera pieces, I agree, felt like those should have been in Italian. Those should have been in their
one of them in Italian?
operatic languages. Not counting Lacrimosa. Like that was the
fair.
only one that was in its original language.
Oh.
Why was everything else in English?
He is based off a video game character. But that guy's name is Shaft. So if they were calling this guy Father Shaft.
Who's the baddest man of all the land?
Shaft!
You're goddamn right. Who's the man who breaks his vows and summons creatures from hell?
Shaft! I was gonna say, this is the most like fucking porn-ass character name I've ever heard in my life.
Father Shaft.
Father Shaft!
Father Shaft.
Who did this?
Okay, so back on the pacing of this series. A big feature of this is going back and talking about night creatures, but just not very much in depth, because it's the first time that a named character gets turned into a night creature.
Yeah.
So for some reason, Edouard, when he becomes when he becomes a night creature, he eventually regains some of his memories, which is
not how night creatures work.
Yeah, well,
no,
he has some memory, because if you recall Isaac talking to the night creature back in like the desert city and everything,
after he feeds him,
he feeds him a berry, he retains some of his memories. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
What threw me for a loop is before night creature Edouard gets any of his memories back, he is apparently such a pure soul that he refuses to do the bidding of the Forge Master, which, what the fuck?
Which you can't do.
You're breaking the rules.
Exactly. That's sort of the like, you were made to do that. Like, that is the process of your making, as we have learned from the last time somebody did this, is that you are built to be under their control, or whoever they give their control to.
Yeah, and also,
but he's a sweet boy.
It's not usually
he's just
like
the goodest boy.
All right, correct me on this. It's not usually the actual like original body, the soul that gets attached.
Yeah, that's what made me mad.
It's that's the thing.
It's a soul
that's the
from
thing
hell.
that they specified exactly.
It's a sinner.
Somebody's body, but a soul from hell just occupying it.
But in this series, for some reason, because Edouard and Jacques both got their bodies back, just mutated. And I'm like, that's not how that's ever worked.
That's not how that fucking works. You establish the rules of the universe, and then you break the rules. The inconsistency has driven me batty. So we spend like 4 or 5 episodes with him just being a singing demon that doesn't want to hurt people and refusing to get broken. And he's like, no, opera, it will touch the soul of the creatures, which it does.
Which it does, some of them.
Which is like kind of cool that like that's something that I can actually get through to them. That's kind of cool.
They've been building it up for so long, and it happens once. And here's what pissed me off. And maybe it's the difference between expectation and execution.
Sure.
But so much of the theming of this show is based around like uprising, freedom. Characters are talking about it all the time. Revolution. So my expectation was Edouard, his purpose is to turn the hearts of the night creatures and get them to revolt against the vampires that have oppressed them. And he sings once and they kill one, the three-headed demon thing that allows Annette to do the plot, and then nothing happens.
Because you have to watch season 2.
Just nothing fucking happens. It would have been perfect to be like, it is time for a new revolution. And they just don't go with that. They just kill one goon and it's whatever. Yeah. And it just, what was the point of focusing on this so much? Like freeing Edouard, like Annette, who's just like, how could you run away? How could you get distracted? And she's just like, oh, by the way, I'm going to get distracted for 5 separate episodes by this thing. Fuck.
I just got a text from Ian. It's the revolutionary spirit. I will never be chained, mind, spirit, or body again. And I agree with that, but at the same time, I think it's just that idea is there, but it suffers from the inability to have pacing match actually showcasing that idea well and not just kind of uselessly like exactly to your point. It worked on one thing. Hooray.
Yeah, it's just like they did in the fucking Boys, that the end of season 3 where it was like you've been building up to this for a long time and then it did one thing that was completely inconsequential to the plot, and that's frustrating as a viewer.
Yeah.
Like, I expect something like that if you're going to hold him in a cell for 5 episodes, 6 episodes, basically.
Yeah.
Basically
that this culminates in okay, then you free him and you, I mean, not repeat basically, but you follow through the sort of, well, how did we had to take down the army of oh my god, I'm like Hellcats. That's not what these things are. Night creatures.
Night creatures. Almost said
hell people. We did strategically take it down last time as well. But what if this time you free Edouard? You send him out amongst the army as a sort of like beacon, whether as a distraction, as something that's actually getting to them and creating
the demon
even
Jesus.
If it's momentary pause, even if they're not fully stopping their behavior, like you use that ability to your advantage of something that can speak to their souls. But no, we don't even get that.
I think it's because the night creatures don't matter in this series.
Yeah, no, I think that's my big issue with it. We keep trying to like focus on, it's such a big important thing that we make sure we're stopping the night creatures, we're stopping the Forge Master.
It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't.
Like there's so many vampires that the night creatures aren't the foot soldiers anymore.
Right, like this man is trying to shoehorn his way into being useful to them.
Yeah.
But I feel like you would kind of be able to tell that they're not necessarily the threat.
It also feels kind of like a forced reason for us to care about Father Abbott.
Yeah.
Because he, outside of being the guy who generates the night creatures, which we don't have the time to really process, which we should.
Which even in the show, it feels like that too.
Yeah,
like they're just sort of like, you did this? Why? For God.
How the fuck did he get a machine from hell?
Right. And why does he have that? Did he always have the gift?
How did he get a hell machine?
We spent so much time focusing on Isaac and the other dude. Hector, Isaac and Hector, and why it was important.
I remember those characters because I like those characters.
Because they were very complex and had huge emotional arcs to go through.
But with Father Abbott, it's like, why do we care about this fool? He could create night creatures.
He's your dad.
Right. He's your
which
dad.
Was obvious.
You
which
are
is
my
obvious.
dad. You're my dad.
There's some thematic stuff that like almost works. Like with the French Revolution, like you have these revolutionaries and the people of France against like 2 major power blocks. The nobles / rich and the church, because like at the time, you know, with the French, essentially their closest thing to a parliament, like you had 3 voting blocks and they all got 1 vote. So yeah, technically the people are against the nobles and the church. And maybe that was some of the thought behind it, but boy, it wasn't well thought out.
All the nobles are vampires, so when do they vote anyway?
Yeah, exactly. Who cares about Parliament? They're just going to eat you.
Right, they're just going to slurp
Just
on
like
you, bud.
real Parliament.
Here's the fucking thing. You're absolutely right. Night creatures don't matter. And yet, that is the focus of the main characters towards the end, towards the climactic finish of this season.
That was a night creature.
We have to send the hell machine back to hell because that's what matters. Guess what, chump? It doesn't fucking matter because the vampire messiah is controlling the sun because that's just a thing that this person can do.
There's an Egyptian god down the road.
Richter!
She wants to eat us all. We're just going to ignore her.
Why the fuck do you care about the grunts of this army? Why do any of you give a fucking shit about this when she's about to turn off the goddamn sun? Was nobody paying attention? Did nobody think about this whatsoever? What the fuck are you doing, Hero Squad? Fuck you guys, you deserve this shit.
But à toi.
At the very least, like, why don't we haven't mentioned it, but spoilers, Juste shows up, Richter's grandfather, another Belmont. Like, at the very least, I was kind of hoping for a, like, while we're scrambling to figure out how to defeat them because we've tried things and it's not working, and we go into the belly of the beast, and there's all of these night creatures, and shit, there's vampires, and shit, there's this scary dragon man from my childhood. I have to run away. Like, at the very least, reconnecting with another Belmont, I thought there would be more of a moment.
Lake.
I thought there would be more of a moment of like, and now we split the party, but we're both going to go gather useful information. And that maybe, just maybe, there would be the opportunity to talk more through about the like vampire threat of the vampire messiah, rather than just, I mean, it's great, you've learned how to do magic again. Yay. But like, I was really sort of hoping at some point we would get this kind of split focus of how to take down the enemy. But really, we did just sort of leave our main characters looking like idiots, ignoring the thing that they keep hearing about over and over and over again, and continuing to focus on, well, we have to take out the night creatures. Like, I don't know where that logic went, but that's what I kept sitting here going,
they really
like,
do hear about the vampire messiah, and they're like, that's some cartoon shit.
why? Where did this go?
This is a fucking D&D campaign where the players get focused on a side quest for months, and the DM eventually goes, fuck you guys, here's the big bad evil guy. It
got way worse because you weren't doing anything about it the entire fucking time.
And the players go, well, you didn't tell me about that.
Everybody you met along the way was telling you about this,
like,
and you did nothing.
There's a giant flashing sign that says, hey, Elizabeth is going to turn off the sun because she's a god or something. Pay attention.
Look at her hair. You can see her from 40 kilometers away.
She's really fucking tall.
She's huge.
I sure hope no heroes come to stop me. I said I hope no heroes come to stop me.
Nothing happens. She just travels in a carriage across the continent. Like, I think she's coming from Russia or something like that.
She does some like predatory lesbian things, and then she turns off the sun.
And then she gets naked, has a Sailor Moon transformation. It's super weird.
And then she becomes a lion.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Cool.
And like nothing interfering whatsoever any step of the way.
I'm just going to do my thing.
Whereas if you had Trevor fucking Belmont out here, he would have tried to punch the shit out of her no less than 4 times and it not work each time.
Right.
Yeah.
This conversation has been really hard to follow if you haven't seen the series. I think it's still worth watching.
Sure.
One of the things we open with is plot, scenario, synopsis.
Yeah.
And I think the reason we haven't done it is we're big fans of the original series, so all the inconsistency pisses us off. But the big thing is there's not really a lot of plot here.
And what there is, they ignore.
Well, that's because it's my least favorite thing about Nocturne is that it's not its own thing. It's a setup.
Yeah.
Right. It's not its own. I recently watched Spider-Verse 2, which is why I mentioned it earlier in the episode. And I love that movie. It's cool, but it has the exact same problem.
Yeah.
Where it's like this whole movie could have been 20 minutes. Because it's not an isolated story. It's setting up for the next thing.
Which, to be perfectly fair, Castlevania Season 1 is that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But it's 4 episodes.
It's 4 episodes, and it doesn't try to tell this crazy plot and explain the characters in a specific way and introduce and keep going with all these things. It's just 4 episodes. And it's with Castlevania Season 1, it's because they didn't know they were getting other seasons. They were trying something cool.
Yeah.
Like, even if you watch Castlevania Season 1, it can live kind of like, it's cliffhangery at the end, but it can kind of live on its own as an art piece. Whereas this season cannot, right?
Yeah.
Like, this feels like a series missing an episode. Now it's like we've only watched half of a season.
I was gonna say, like, it feels like you either need to give it those 12 episodes or you need to cut it down and just pick what to keep and choose and
just do the cool magic
trim
shit
it down
then,
to like 4 or 5 episodes.
It's the biggest issue with Erzsébet, right? Because they're like, why didn't they talk about the vampire messiah, blah blah blah. It's because they can't stop her, because she's not the point, because we have to wait another 9 episodes before she's the point. Right, she's just here to set stakes.
Stakes.
Which sucks because she's supposed to be the big bad.
It's so maddening because, like, in the first series, I wish I could judge this thing on its own merits, but I can't.
But we can't.
Right.
Sorry.
We can't. In the first series, like, the villain is set up in Dracula, and we know he's a big bad dude.
Yeah.
But he's not necessarily an endgame villain because, like, that's not really what he's going for. He's a tragic character in that there's a whole court of vampires that's like, hey, let's trigger the end of the world. And he's like, I can't. I have depression.
I don't want to. I'm sad.
I miss my wife, Tails.
I miss my wife, Tails. I miss her.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
So it doesn't, like, matter that, like, he's still a hanging thread at the end of the first season of Castlevania original. Like, because it's like, we'll get to him and we'll take care of it. This Nocturne feels so rushed because we introduce the endgame villain, like, not just by talking about her, but having her on screen and as a character. In episode 6, she's somebody that should appear in season 3. Like,
or like teased, like we see like half shadow or just lips or something.
Don't start with a god as your big bad.
You don't put Firelord Ozai in on screen in book 1.
We just got him in silhouette for an entire like 2 seasons, basically.
I am actually extremely surprised now that we're vocalizing this. I'm surprised Drolta isn't the big bad for season 1.
Yeah, because like
you feel like it'd be like one of the big bad generals, and then you finally get her, and she's like, haha. The other 2 Saiyans are coming in a year. You better train up, losers.
Or at the very least, if you're going to make this whole thing about the night creatures, mention the Messiah's still coming, but don't let her show up yet and just focus it about the night creatures.
Like the Pantheon of Gods, there's too many things happening at once to get invested in anything. And the writers don't take the time to like plant those seeds and let them grow. They just like, hey, you got to grow right now, buddy.
I think that's super, and this is a bigger conversation that we don't really have time to go into, but I think it's super interesting because this show breaks its back to be culturally diverse.
Yeah.
Which I don't necessarily, I
Yes
think
and
is
no,
always going to be weird until it stops being
Yeah.
weird. Right. And I think we're still in the world where it's weird. So they have to do all this justification. Annette is an awesome character on her own, but they're like, oh, we also have to do her whole slave story and use a quarter of the animation budget on her episodes and give her all these badass moments with sexy Aztec dude. We have to go out of our way to like make him, he's not a completely evil dude, even though our vampires are objectively evil, which is
and
why
also
Vlad
doesn't explain what the point is of his actions. Like,
no,
he has,
because he's not in love.
Well, his thing is that, like,
with the priest he met once and had sex with twice.
Yeah, he talks about, like, my proud Native American lover that I had that Richter's mom killed. Like, he was
who I forced into vampirism.
So passionate about, like, the freedom of all people and everything. And it's like, okay, maybe his deal is he wants to stop the vampire messiah because he doesn't actually, like, maybe he's not down with the subjugation thing, and that's going on with all of the vague notions about freedom that, like, the French revolutionaries are bringing up and what he's bringing up. Like, it's like, okay, maybe that's your motivation, but it doesn't. I'm not asking for him to spell it out plainly. I'm just asking for something.
Just something more than ambiguously
helping out the heroes. Yeah.
Gray, like not on, but also not on either side kind of thing. Like, we don't have strong reasoning for him to be against the vampire order.
He should be Severus Snape, but he's Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm gay Shadow the Hedgehog.
Great cock.
I turned one of my villains, one of my lovers, into a vampire. We're not really clear if that was consensual or not, but here we are anyway.
It definitely probably wasn't. And then he got killed, so I killed a kid's mom and then gave the kid PTSD. It's like,
shit got
you're not a good dude.
You're not the complex, like, you're not Saint Germain, and you never will be.
And I think that's something that I was telling Ian today. I greatly missed having, like, we have different characters kind of fill in some of the roles from the main crew of Castlevania, which is fine. Like, where we're kind of showing, like, how things have changed, how things haven't.
Nobody's funny in the show.
But I miss the just
banter.
Like, there's wit, like there's a wit and dialogue exchange between,
it's like Marvel movie wit, though. It's like everybody's an asshole.
Yeah, like Annette and Richter kind of have those Marvel quippiness. Richter has some I was going to say something profound and smart, but fuck it. Punch into magic. I was like, what? No, like there's a few moments where I'm like, he's a Belmont, but hardly anything that equates to the same level of, like, sass and comedy that we got from Trevor, from Alucard, from Saint Germain especially, but then even from our villains. And I think I have an issue with currently the way that Castlevania writes female villains, where they are all business, all class, which is really fun and sexy and sinister when they really are allowed to just be fucking evil.
Yeah.
But only the men have these moments of, like, actual sort of, like, dry humor. Like, it's Dracula's like, you must be the Belmont, like, at the shitty punching. Like, it's that kind of stuff. The women never get that. They just cut to the chase and girl boss their way to the sun. But then that's all they are, is sexy girl boss babes. And that then becomes their type as female villains, that they don't get to diverge into anything else.
Carmella had a lot of good scenes.
Yes.
Her sisters, all of her sisters, get something. The two ladies that love each other.
Yes.
Sypha also got that room to breathe as well.
And that's what I mean. Like, it's you see it in the villains mostly. Like, Sypha's absolutely allowed to be her own self. I think Tara's a little bit softer of a Sypha in this one, but shit's happened to her. Shit's happened to her. We could say that that's kind of a, like, we'll do softer character here. Maria, room to stand. Annette, I think we've already said, is, like, really great character, really great sort of, like, how did she get here? I like her. I think I'm willing to blame part of, like, maybe if there's anything ineffective about her other than the sort of, like, yes, I think the main point of the, like, this was my fault, but I'm not gonna say that. I'm just gonna let people tell me.
You're thinking Annette.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. Maria is tiny pink girl.
Yeah.
That's fair. But I like the spunk. I like that she's at least her own thing currently.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more of her in the next season. But again, protagonist women each kind of get their own category.
Yeah.
Female villains don't.
Yeah. Definitely in this
and
series.
especially in this currently of what we've seen.
But they used to.
I know exactly, they used to. And I didn't even really like them all that much until we got to spend more time with I'm blanking on her name, long red hair in the castle. Her, and I'm forgetting now, but like
the one that like put a ring on Hector.
Yes. I didn't like her at first, but then the more time we got to explore her character, it was like, but you're fucking devious. And like, I really like the way that they approach your form of antagonist, of villainy, of what that means to but currently we don't have any of that. And your entire like sort of villain circle in this season currently is mostly women.
Because you guys spent so much time. I can say this. I'm the minority. You guys spent so much time trying to put women in minorities in positions of power in this like really, really tight space that we only really got to explore, honestly, Annette.
Yeah.
And we don't have time to explore anybody else. Dralta's just a sexy black lady.
Yeah.
Urzabet is whatever the fuck she is, God mode.
Yeah.
Right. Even Tara is just, I'm sad.
Right.
And now I'm a vampire. Right.
You're absolutely correct. There's no time in 8 episodes for like all these people to introduce themselves and to flesh out.
Which again, either cut it down or give them more time.
Either don't give anybody any time. Exactly.
Right.
Don't give anybody any time, or give everybody the time they deserve.
Yeah.
Because that's what this show thrives on. That's what made the later seasons so good, was that we spent time with everybody. It was incredibly refreshing that we spent time with your side villains.
Yeah.
Like, not just your main cast and supporting cast, but like... it was such good character rounding. So when they came back together, it meant something.
After 4 seasons, you can pretty confidently say Castlevania is a slow, character-driven story.
Yes.
And that's what made it good.
Yeah.
I still liked Castlevania Nocturne. I don't think it's great. I think it desperately needs season 2, which they're going to do.
Absolutely. But hey, Alucard ends the cliffhanger of both fucking seasons.
Where the fuck was he?
Yeah, once again, where the fuck were you?
What was he doing?
Right. That's what I was sitting there waiting the entire time. When we got the old man, I know they knew exactly what they were doing.
They made him look like the cover of Symphony of the Night.
Or not Hail Mary. Red herring, like, longish, like thin, now silvery hair, yellow tinted eyes. I'm like, oh, it's Alucard. No, it's another Belmont. Okay. Then he shows up out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's fucking bullshit. No, that is manipulative, like marketing bullshit, and I fucking hate it. Like,
right.
I'm fine with like Dralta dying because she's a mini boss at most.
Sure.
Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, but the fact that the writers say, "Hey, these characters all kind of suck, and we're sorry about that."
Hey, you know it would be funny.
Yeah. Because guess what? All of the characters fail. They all fail. Nobody accomplishes anything.
Aggressively.
Richter, like, put like 30 hits with the whip on the mini boss, and it doesn't matter.
It doesn't do anything.
Yeah, because guess what? Whips have always exploded vampires before, but this one's got a bigger health bar, so you didn't do it. Annette
Black
doesn't.
girl magic.
Hey, speaking of black girl magic, Annette can't push a fucking refrigerator into a giant yawning portal from hell because she can't. I guess it's just because she sucks. Sorry, guys. She sucks, and Pink Girl sucks because she's a Pokemon trainer and also a paladin priest guy. So guess what we have to do? We have to bring the real adult, a character that people actually like and respect,
into the room
out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any goddamn sense.
That's what I was saying by like episode 6. Like, shit's brewing in this part of Europe. People are vampires are fucking gathering.
And they don't do anything
the
about it.
Fuck is Alucard.
It's like, were you asleep, my guy?
Again?
You couldn't have woke up 2 hours ago?
It's not even a good reveal because it's just like, where the fuck were you, asshole?
Watch them try to play this this jump from like season 1 to 2 off again with this like some bit about him being asleep again. Watch them fucking try.
Yeah.
I was watching all along. No, well, obviously you weren't watching closely.
Motherfucker, no you weren't.
No, you weren't.
Yeah,
no, you weren't, bitch.
Guess what, idiot? You're one of the dummies who didn't pay attention to the sun fucking exploding.
Did you look at the sun? Have you seen the sun today?
It's like Alucard.
Did you look at all? Did you pay any attention? Or were you like, oh, I've got 400 years of taxes to catch up on?
Did y'all know about this lady 400 years ago?
Right!
Did y'all not take a teleporter or a boat over to Egypt and say, hey, we should do something about this?
You've rebuilt your dad's moving castle with a fucking library of just about everything magical known to man and vampire.
Literally had a whole army of fools with the whole Belmont library. Lord knows where that is at this point.
You know what this is?
Right.
You know what level of writing this shit is? This is somehow Palpatine returned. That's what pisses me off.
Oh.
Yeah. I think I would prefer if they didn't say this was a continuation, like if it was just like a spinoff.
Yeah.
It's also one of kind of when I was apprehensive about the series in general, because every Castlevania game, most Castlevania games are, hey, somebody's trying to revive.
Most games.
Most of them. Most Castlevania games are the next asshole is trying to revive Vlad Bloody Tepish again.
Vlad Bloody Tepish.
And either they do or they don't, and the Belmonts have to come and handle it, or Alucard sometimes.
Fucking sick and tired of this shit and keep putting a stop to it.
They did that story. That shit's done, right?
Yeah.
This bitch Urzabet didn't even get killed by a Belmont in her game.
Jeez.
She got killed by a Belmont offshoot, some motherfucker named like Trent.
You got killed by Trent, bitch. Fuck you.
Some dude named Trent.
Some asshole from Texas she got rocked by.
What?
Yeah. Correction. John Morris.
I don't know if that's better or
John
worse.
Morris, born December 12, 1895 in the beautiful state of Texas.
That's part of like the fucking Red Dead Redemption universe. I don't care what you're talking
fucking
about.
Arthur Morgan 86 this lady, and now she's like, I'm gonna be the fucking sun god. And we're like, whoa.
God damn it, Dutch, she's trying to cover the sun. Why aren't we taking care of that?
You just gotta have some goddamn faith, Arthur.
There'll be sun in Tahiti.
We'll take care of the Egyptian lady. We just need some goddamn money.
Arthur, we need to take care of the night creatures.
Can you imagine trying to have vampires in a western, in a desert? Like, it's nighttime out there, sure, but the daytime will fucking kill you.
It just pisses me off because the whole Nocturne, the whole 30 Days of Night thing of like covering the sun is such a fucking cool idea for vampire media.
But they rush it.
Yes, they rush it.
Do that in 4 years, my guy. You don't make your big bad evil guy go Super Saiyan level 3 in episode 9.
Yeah.
You rushed, you fucked it up. You can't make up for this mess. I don't see it being possible. You throw like vampire Jesus in there with Alucard, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of pissed off fans who are just like, cool. Where you been, asshole?
Yeah.
Right.
You broke the rules for convenience.
Because I thought by the time that we were at like midway through, there's no sign of any there's no sign of going back to actually do any fucking research. We're not going to try to track down any records from the Belmont stronghold. Okay, fine. Great. We have no sign that Alucard is even here at all. We assume that he's not dead because he's immortal.
Mm-hmm.
but no sign of him. Guess he's just fucked off elsewhere while the end of the world is preparing to happen again and vampires across the world are gathering someplace. All right, cool, I guess. Sure, he's not here. Thinking we're kind of alternate universing it or like something that's disconnected. But then
No, he's just late.
Literally just like barring the writing any opportunity to actually set something up in motion, just rush, try to get to something cool, and then throw the old guard in at the very end to tease you to want to watch more.
Yeah.
But you've already like rushed us through what should have been basically a season and then another half of a season's worth of build-up.
It's literally the
get to this
Disney
point?
Star Wars trilogy. Like,
Yeah.
it's literally that. It's
Damn.
breaking the rules of your universe and, like, throwing stuff together, not because it makes sense, but because it's convenient for your writers, because they're not willing to let go of the old things.
Yeah.
It's just frustrating more than anything.
Which I'm fine if they didn't want to let go of the old things. But like
Yeah.
if you're going to either thread it through, tease us along like you're trying to get your characters to solve something or learn something that they previously didn't know because they were cut off from that information, or actually put something in there for them to find and work their way towards to get to a more substantial and great. And now here's where you two meet up. Not this like happenstance. Oh, I just bumped into my grandfather at this tavern.
Yeah.
It wasn't that I was led here. I just ended up at the right place at the right time to meet this man. And he was thinking, oh, Tara told you. No, I was just here,
Also,
my
the-
like, what the
idea-
fuck?
His granddad was in the next town over, and they never
Yeah.
interacted with each
Right.
other.
And he's just been watching because he didn't want to, like,
'Cause
buy him a suit or something.
right, yeah.
I didn't want to buy emotional support, encouragement, birthday presents. Why would you want that?
That shit was super lame. Last thought. I'm going to take Kaylie's stance in from Trigun, where or Trigun Stampede, where it's like, this isn't finished.
Please.
And
This
I'm
better
gonna-
not fucking be finished.
And I'm going to hope that they pull it off in the second
Good
half.
for them. All the power to them. I don't want to watch.
Gibby's done.
I'm fucking mad about it. Like,
But we will.
Yeah, we probably will.
We
Because
will.
it's funny to listen to me be mad.
Yeah.
Good content.
That has been this episode of the Liberal Artist Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Maybe watch Castlevania Nocturne. Maybe wait a year. Give it a year.
Yeah. We
See if
we
season
did
two
get a
comes out.
teaser for the season 2 a couple
Yeah.
weeks after the season 1, so it's in production.
Yeah.
But we'll-
Give it some time to cook and then check it out.
Let them cook. Let them cook.
Follow us on our socials at LibArtistPod on Instagram, on
Instagram mostly these
the
days.
mostly, on the Twitters. Maybe not in Europe anymore.
They're free.
Join us next time when we smash Alucard into Craven. This the crossover you deserve.
That's an AO3 if I've ever read one.
I thought we were just gonna stop after Smash Alucard.
I mean, you know,
I mean,
I mean,
peace.
The Liberal Artists Podcast premieres every other Thursday on your favorite podcasting platform. The show is hosted by Bodio, Kaylie Horowitz, and Andy Gibson. You can find the show at LibArtistsPod on Instagram and Twitter. Thanks to White Hot for performing the theme song Reflect, which can be found on freebeats.io. Now, I'm off to go exploring, and maybe, just maybe, I'll find a sheep that I can call my own. Good day.
We just gotta fuck Alucard, Arthur. Have some goddamn faith.
we gotta take care of the night creatures, Arthur.
We just gotta get the blood of the old gods, Arthur.
God damn it, Dutch. I don't have Sekhmet blood just lying around in
We
camp.
get the blood and then we go to Tahiti. You just gotta have some goddamn.
There's a god of Tahiti that'll give us powers related to island living, Dutch. That's how this universe works now. The old gods of Tahiti. They'll definitely like us Anglo-Saxon men.
They'll give us sand magic, Arthur. You just gotta have some goddamn. I could do this for hours. We have to stop.
Have some goddamn sand, Arthur.
Get some goddamn sand.
Good lord.
Drink some goddamn blood, Arthur.
Just get you only need a drop of lion blood, Arthur.
Fuck you. I'm stopping recording. Fuck you, fuck you.
It's time to stop. It's time to stop, okay?
It's time to stop, Dutch.
Just gotta munch on Erzabet's arm, Arthur.
Jesus.
Make it the ultimate war.
I'm done here.